Welcome, folks, to the 23rd of October, 2024 Aries Working Group call. I will be your host today, Sam Curran, and this will be a quick call. I am at the Hyperledger, or the Hyperledger, now becoming LFDT Member Summit in San Francisco that starts in an hour. And so this will be a shorter call. And that's okay, because primarily what we're doing is kind of reviewing where we are and reviewing the upcoming meeting schedule as it's happening. This is a LFDT call, so the antitrust policy and code of conduct are in effect. The link is in the agenda. Which link I will drop in the chat. Of course, it's in the regular location. And so, yes, any attendees. Oops, I just lost my participants list. Any attendees are welcome to add their name to the attendees list. I don't see Shar today. I'm not in edit mode. That makes this awkward. Everyone's welcome to add themselves to the attendees list if you would like. Any introductions are welcome. Any introductions for folks who are new here or would like to reintroduce themselves? Right. Glad you're all here. We have announcements. LFDT Summit is today, the member summit, and IW is next week. And so that, of course, impacts our schedule. We will not be having this call next week, and the week after that will actually be the initial call of the Interoperability SIG group over at the Open Wallet Foundation. Any other announcements we should have but don't? All right. Any notes about release status or work updates?
Octopi, we'll have to update those links and things, so I'll do that while we're going. So Octopi has moved over to Open Wallet. The redirect still works, so that URL that you see is will still take you to the Octopi repo. We've completed a 1.10 release, and that produced artifacts from the new locations, so that was successful. And the plugins repo has also had releases done, so that the plugins now reference the new structure, the new location, and work as expected when adjusted. So redirects still work. That's all good. The only thing we haven't done is produced a LTS release, but we're pretty confident we have a number of. We're pretty confident that'll work fine. So we're in good shape there. So that's all good. We're now moving on to, we're past the what to move and how to move and into updating Octopi, with the big issue being really sorting out, being completely neutral in the use of DIDs. That's really what I'm trying to say. So we've got a bunch of DID methods that we want to be able to support. And so the work going on right now is to figure out exactly how to get those DIDs generically supported, so that regardless of whether you're using CheckD or you're using DID TDW or you're using Indy, or DidWeb, you can use Octopi to anchor the DID or to control the DID, publish it, and publish related objects such as an on-creds object. So that's the work going on right now. That's most of the update. I guess Shell's here and could talk about where we are with the Aries agent test harness move. Which kind of jumps I've jumped from release status and work updates to OWF move. Sam, is that okay?
Yeah, I think that just keep rolling.
Okay.
It's all kind of the same today, so
Yeah,
let's roll with it.
Yeah. Shell, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Owl agent test harness status.
Yeah, so the move has gone well. We had a little hiccup with some nightly regression test runs for the interrupt suite, but all that has been cleared up and things are running normally. There is a lot of work going on to expand the AIP 2.0 test suite for Credo, and getting that to work with Akapi for all of the AIP 2.0 protocols. So a lot of work's been going on there. There's a new feature that's been added that's not quite merged yet, which is allowing the test harness to run with remote agents. So no longer will we have to run with test harness agents or managed agents, but if somebody has an agent in production or staging or test, that they could point the test harness to that and could run interrupt tests to verify their agents. But note that those agents have to talk test harness API language, so they would need to implement some APIs there on their controllers for their agents to get it to work. But yeah, that's pretty much the big items that are happening right now on the agent test harness, the OWL agent test harness.
And I am seeing some updates, some PRs to Akrita as well. Am I right? I thought I saw some yesterday.
Yes, Akrita is just did the port from AFJ to Credo. So that's some good work that's happened there. So now they're supporting the latest version of Credo there instead of the old AFJ version.
Good, good, excellent.
Awesome. And a bonus Akrita update. Any other updates and release status stuff?
Definitely some very old links here. We'll have to fix up those. Discussions going on with Ascar. Two changes. One is adding, there's more work and more additions of paging going on of database queries. And then another developer is working on adding ODBC support to Ascar so that other database backends can be used. So that's happening in that world. Haven't moved Aries mediator service, haven't touched that. Endorser service, those haven't been moved. So we do have additional repositories that move to be over.
Cool. Also, these links to update are not nearly as important as the ones that we'll post with the hey, everything moved stuff to the main Aries wiki page. Yeah. That's the one that's really critical.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, so not much for discussion topics. The basically we're in the spot where we're doing the migration and then updating links. The big news is the OWF interrupt SIG. We have some we've had these are copy forward notes mostly. We have we've made that happen. So a couple of news items there. Shar Howland will be helping in heavily involved with the OWF interrupt SIG moving forward. There's room for more if you would like to be involved in that new discussion and help host meetings and shape discussions and everything else. That's certainly open. So if you're interested and you would like to be involved in that way, then please reach out. We'd love to help you be involved. It's a great growth opportunity. It's a great way to meet folks and be involved in the community. And that's open. So please do holler if you or you know someone that would be interested in that. The timing of that, this begins the week following IIW, and we're alternating weeks so that we can allow good Mr. Curran here to be present. He's on the technical advisory committee, the TAC. at the OWF. They meet every other week at the same time. And so note these are Pacific times. So this is 8 a.m. Mountain and 9 a.m. Mountain, according to whatever time zone you happen to be in, of course. And then here's the schedule going forward. We've preemptively declared the 25th and the 1st as a holiday with no meeting, which is convenient. So we will have on the Aries main wiki page, we will have this information as well as the meeting links and calendar links and all of the stuff in advance of that call happening post IIW, so that that's all there. And then we'll of course see you over at that new call. And so the topics will largely be the same as the scope there. There are some topics, anything that involves more than just an awareness review of anything spec related will need to occur in its respective places. But that's okay. A lot of what we do is awareness review, so that you're aware of the various technology that exist and where they are, and then of course discussing interoperability concerns, which is honestly what we've done a lot and been really great at. And so producing profiles that can be targeted for development in various areas. I anticipate profiles beyond just the stuff that would traditionally fall under Aries. Certainly those technologies as well, but also any others that we that folks want to do, and those can also, if useful, be there could be separate profiles that are not necessarily based on each other, but are interop targets for folks working on that. So that'll be some cool work going forward that I think will be very helpful. And then here's the Google Doc that we'll be using to start from, and then of course with updated links in the wiki page, and that work will begin soon, to be able to point to all of the new meeting locations, repository locations, etc. There. And then the other change is the Aries RFC repository will drop into maintenance mode. Oh, this is a note that is done. And so we will be changing the upfront README about that, and then of course maintenance of that will change. So we will not be accepting any PRs that substantially update content there, just links to new locations where folks should look. So for example, if there's an RFC that has a new version somewhere that you'd like folks to be aware of, then a note at the top of a previous RFC highlighting that fact with a link to the new location would be the appropriate PR to make. Not a substantive change, just a pointer to where the work is happening now. And that's the reason we're not archiving the repo entirely, is which we'll leave it in place, is because we wanted to make sure that we could point to new locations where work was occurring. And so that's the reason there. Some of that will be in the DIDCOM users group and DIDCOM.org related discussions. Some of it will be future OpenWall Foundation interop SIG discussions or work output like a interop profile, for example. So it just kind of depends on where it's going. It's not all one location based on where the natural new home for that work happens to be. Any questions, comments, corrections, thoughts on that move and on the future of this particular call?
I gather that OWF and Sean is putting together a newsletter post to be done this week. So keep an eye out for that for anyone who might be involved in that. I don't know whether that's based on the messaging document you've got here, Sam, or something else.
I don't know this based on this one. There is a doc that we've been working on for OWF to publish stuff. We're suggesting a blog post as well. And so that
do you know where that is? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything.
I've got a link that I was talking with. So this is some thoughts that we had, and we're sending it to Brian Bellendorf. He, of course, can say whatever he wants to say, but we have some things that we thought that from Indicio's side ought to be covered. I can share that with you, but that's something I'll be chasing down with him this week. so that that can happen as part of the transition. We didn't want to do that too early, just for confusion's sake about where to go or what was already there. So having the page that links to all of the new stuff prepped and everything else, so that when he does publish that, it makes sense, was a good idea. It's a lot lighter on technical details and more on intent and recognition than anything else. So it's not, this one is more about mostly there's some messaging, but more sort of just informative, like, hey, here's the new links and stuff. That this will still be the location for that. We're not going to put that into we're not going to recommend that it goes into a blog post of any kind. But yeah.
Okay.
So cool. Yeah. Anything else to discuss today? That I wanted to make sure that I was here so that if we could talk about schedule and awareness, we could do that. And then this will be, because IW is next week, which we're not holding, this will be the last official Aries working group call. And then we'll roll into the Open Wallet Foundation Interrupt SIG the week after IIW.
One thing we could do is, Sam, is send out a note maybe leading up to that first meeting, which to include what was put into the proposal for the working group, so that people come to that first meeting with a, here's what I want to talk about, and here's the direction I want to go based on, you know, what we agreed was the purpose of the group. I mean, it's largely to continue this meeting. But it has, you know, it has a slant. Some of the DIDCOM stuff moves over to the DIDCOM working group. And so, you know, try how to continue to build up the conversation that has happened here, but have it happen at OWF. So people bring their topics of what they want to talk about. I think that's the plan for the first meeting, is really to say, okay, where do we want to take this group, and what do we want to talk about next week and the week after, and so on.
It is, and a big amount is to continue the work that we've done here. But it's good in these natural transitions to discuss any adjustments that we want to make.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's because it's just a natural inflection point, or a nice sort of transition anyway. And so discussing those things is super helpful. So absolutely, the work that has happened here that you would like to continue to work and bring that up, as well as new items that we haven't traditionally discussed, but then fall within the scope and the charter of promoting wallet interoperability, of course, is nice and open. So so that discussion will that we have will set the agenda for the particularly the immediate future of those calls, and so that we can make sure that we get the most urgent stuff discussed first. And so yeah, well, dropping a note, the other thing that will happen is that this Zoom room will remain open for a bit, and it will be and we'll have someone here. I think Sean will be helping with that. This one here will have someone in it for, the 10-15 minutes of the normal scheduled meeting time for the first few weeks to provide folks to the redirected, the links and everything else, in case they miss the memo, and that way we gather as many of those folks as possible. So
Yeah.
that's the plan there. Yeah. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work to be done this next little bit, but then we're continuing on with that new call, and that'll work going forward. Anything else we want to cover, discuss today? I did warn everyone this was going to be a little bit of a shorter call, as I've got to run off to the actual event here that I'm in San Francisco for. So yeah. All right. Well done, folks. And we will we'll see you in the various parts of the transition. And those of you that are coming to IW, it'll be great to see you in person next week. And we will see you all later. Thanks for coming today.
See you, folks.